Hi everyone, my name is Adrielle Smith and I'm going to discuss different ways to engage students while learning. How do we engage our students? I teach kindergarten, so in kindergarten we do a lot of cut and paste worksheets, movement games, and in math they use cubes and counters. Also when we're practicing our sight words, some students might want to take out the sandboxes and write their letters using a pencil, and in science class they do science experiments. When students are virtual, I love to incorporate boom cards during my learning, movement games, scavenger hunts, show and tells, and since they can't cut and paste, I transfer the lessons into drag and drop lessons. When it's a combination of students online and in person, I like to keep everything pretty similar. So the students in class will do a cut and paste worksheets, while the students online will do the drag and drop version. And if the students at home have all the materials, then they can participate just like they're in class. For our upcoming school year, all students will have to come back in person. If parents are not comfortable with sending their children back to school, they'll have the option to enroll them into Florida Virtual School or sign up for Collegia Prep. All students that are going to return in person have to wear masks and teachers have to wear masks even if you're fully vaccinated. The Ethics of Care video discussed the importance of building healthy relationships with our students and making sure all students are engaged in their learning. In this video, I learned the importance of creating lessons that are meaningful to all students, also to make sure I'm building relationships with all my students and not just favorites, and listening to the needs of the majority of the class. I also learned that it's important to encourage students to work with others and ask questions because it shows that you have their best interests at heart. How can we keep students engaged with their teachers, their peers, and the content of their classes? Well, according to In a Boston Suburb, students need to move around, have playtime, and have the opportunity to explore. Many children who sit for long periods of time experience frustration, muscle cramps, and disruptive behaviors. Research has seen an increased number of students who are diagnosed with ADHD and behavior issues. Yet, we are doing nothing but to worsen the problem rather than make it better. Here are some tips and tricks that I have used in my years of teaching that have helped my students be engaged while they're learning, and also something that I'm going to incorporate within the next school year. Implementing breaks between different subjects allows my students to move around for a short period of time and then regain focus for their next task. If we don't allow our students to be social and move around, it can cause a lack of motivation because they are not being active. Giving students the freedom to discuss what they're learning with their peers gives them the opportunity to use their social skills. Also, creating lessons that incorporate movement, social time, and playtime is how I plan to motivate my students and what has worked best for me. During this school year, I plan on incorporating voice level lights, which has 4 different levels that allows them to talk during class and to also know when it's time to work independently and quietly. Overall, growth happens when you're taking out of your comfort zone. It's important to make sure that we are motivating our students and encouraging them to be engaged while learning. Thank you for listening. Here are the references that I used during this assignment.